for me, the local is extremely vast, and maybe another way of even talking about the global, because within the global, there is a local, and within the local, of course, there's the global. But at the same time, I'm very concerned about location, about specificity in talking, and that is because Africa is taken as this homogeneous entity, one place where over 1.2 billion people live. And that's not the case. So, I emphasize this idea of local, but I emphasize it on, a multitude of levels. So I emphasize the local, starting off with Lagos, which is where I'm from. That's where I live. That's where I work out of. I work there and I work out of Lagos. So that's local to me. But then also, I like to think of the region, the West African region, as local to me because I do move around West Africa fairly easily. I'm very conversant with the different countries that constitute the region, and I engage and have engaged with them over the last 2, 3 decades. And then over the last decade, I've been traveling a lot within Africa. So the local begins to get wider and bigger. And I also consider the continent of Africa part of my wider, just like we talk about the extended family, I talk about the local within, an extended geographical parameter. And then, I move around the world, so I work globally. But within that, I also feel there's a certain ease of movement, that I'm very lucky and privileged to be able to move from one place to the other and feel comfortable wherever I go. So I don't see it as a small space. I see it as an extended, expanded field of engagement and of practice. But I think also thinking about specificity, being local to a specific context, it's, how do we also make our voices heard within the multitude of voices that are out there? And I think, one of the things that I try and do within my own practice, and also in engaging with visual artists, is I think if you go back to being really, really local, then it's possible to get noticed in the global, because what's happening in Lagos, there's certain things that happen in Lagos which only could happen in Lagos and nowhere else in the world. And I think when you can highlight, that specificity within a wider context in which your voice could get drowned, then to a certain extent the local, as opposed to local as global, becomes more visible, becomes more audible, if you wish. And in that way, you can have a multitude of people who say, we can identify with this experience, that comes, out of a very, very local set of realities.